might ask why I'm dressed up so nicely today. The reason for that is because today I'm gonna bake some cookies, and we all know that cookies can sense disrespect, so we have to be very careful not to offend the cookies, because I need to give these out to people for Christmas, and if I do not respect the cookies to their absolute maximum, it's gonna be a mess. We're just gonna end up with flour and sugar everywhere, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So we're gonna make some cookies. Hopefully it doesn't go badly. All right, so the first thing I like to do when I'm baking is get out my bowls, and then I go make a cup of tea, because I can't do anything without a cup of tea on hand, even if I don't actually drink it. So we're gonna do that. I forgot to get a cup. Sloth. Yes, sweetie? Just a minute. Now, while our tea is steeping and the 5-year-old downstairs is waiting to show us something, we're gonna get our book out and collect our ingredients. And trip over the stuff on the floor. Don't mind that. Now it's falling. It's going down the stairs. I'm going to be using a delightful little book that I got with a thing of molasses that I bought once, and it's got some recipes in it. So we're just going to copy one of these and add a few little different things to it as we go, so that we don't have to, you know, I'm not sure if I have to credit people for stuff, so we're just going to put our little spin on it. All right. The first thing we're gonna need, I tried to get all my ingredients together before I started, but I have really bad ADHD, so we're gonna assume that I got almost nothing. Our first ingredient is gonna be a cup of sugar. I did get that. Now this says to use white sugar. I would rather use brown sugar usually, but it didn't tell me to use that. I already got these out and they're sitting right in front of me. That's fine. Yes, sweetie? Oh, okay. I have no idea what she said. All right. So we're gonna add a cup of sugar. Yay! Our next, actually maybe we should double it. Let's add 2 cups of sugar. 2 of everything. Double or nothing. Ah. Cups of sugar. All right, now we want a cup of butter, softened. Well, I just happen to have left some butter out, already softening. Look at me go. We don't have to sit here for an hour and go away. These are a cup each, right? Tablespoon? 1/8 of a cup? Yes. Okay, we're good. Just gonna plonk that in there. Now it does say to follow them in a certain order of the directions, but I've made these so many times I already know how to do it. But just a minute, I'm making a video. Kids, nothing can ever be done without at least 30 to 40 interruptions, so we're gonna, oh, okay. Just me, sweetie, all by myself. Isn't COVID-19 wonderful? So I've added our butter. There's more ingredients. What's next? A cup of Crosby's Fancy Molasses. Well, we're just gonna add a cup of whatever molasses we can happen to find, all right? Let's have a look for some molasses that I should have gotten before we started, but I didn't. Molasses. Okay, how much is a cup? This, hey, I have the right brand. Let's see. This is 375 grams. Is that a cup? We'll just measure it out. I'm wearing my nice dress and I didn't put an apron on. I have to wear didn't we cook? What are we doing? I'm definitely getting butter on my dress while I put on the apron. That's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Okay. We're gonna pause for a second so that our 5-year-old can show us something in Minecraft. I'll be right back after this cut. And we're back. Her dog ate a bone on Minecraft. All right, so we're gonna do 2 cups of the fancy molasses. Eventually. Any moment now. It's gonna happen. Ah, it's overflowing. 1 cup. Oh no, I was supposed to mix the butter with the sugar first. That's all right. We'll add 1 cup of molasses, then we'll mix the butter with the sugar, and then we'll add the other cup of molasses. I'm sure it's fine. I need my mixer. And we're gonna mix this up until the butter and the sugar are creamed together. So the consistency will be kind of smooth, a little gritty. I'll show you once it's at that point. Right now we have it looking like this. Delicious. But it'll look much better afterward, hopefully. Hopefully we haven't ruined everything by adding the molasses early. Get this out of here. Ah, it's coming off. Lights. Where's your motion control? Okay, I'm gonna pause this while I mix it because this is really loud, but I'll give you a little sample. And we are back, and it is creamed together. It's quite lovely. I'll just take it out and look at it. Ooh, brown. Look at all that brown. So now we're gonna add our other cup of molasses that we totally didn't add the first one earlier. That was that was intentional. We're gonna just add another cup of molasses. Yep, just gonna add that right there. Any moment now. Just gonna add another cup of molasses. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's enough. That's probably enough molasses. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's enough. All right, that was enough. What's our next ingredient? Let's have a look-see here. We need to add a large egg at room temperature. Large egg at room temperature. If I leave the door open for a little while, the room will get really cold, right? Yeah. Some people's rooms are really cold. Some people don't even need a refrigerator because they can just have cold rooms. So these eggs are completely room temperature and totally fine. Did I have both cups of molasses? We'll add a little bit more molasses just to be safe because, just a little. Hopefully we dressed nicely enough that the cookies haven't been offended and they'll turn out okay, even though I keep saying we, it's definitely me. I'm. Okay, what's our next ingredient? 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. So I need 9 cups of flour to double this. I'm gonna get a bigger bowl to put my flour in. I'm gonna get a giant pot to put my flour in. Okay. Now, I like to keep my cereals and flours and such in a large plastic container of some kind, because I live out in the country. I live in like Hants County in Nova Scotia, so you want to make sure that you keep all of your like grains fairly well sealed, because you don't want to end up with rodents in your house, uninvited rodents. If you have pet rodents, well, that's you. That's more power to you. I definitely don't have a large thing, rats downstairs. I have snakes. Don't judge me. Okay. I need a cup. This is a cup. So I need 9 of these. 4.5 times 2 is 9, right? Yeah. It's a simple multiplication. I did fine in math in school. Math foundations counts, right? I blame ADHD, which I have. My brain does not work correctly. So that's 2. You have to count with me because I'm not going to remember what count I'm at. Now you want to get it really, really level. 3. I'm not doing that, but if you want to do this recipe, you should definitely make sure it's completely level before you add it to the bowl, because it's going to affect your consistency. You want to get like a straight edge and not use your finger when you're measuring it out, because 4, 5? That's 5, right? 5. Well, if they're really mushy, we'll know why. 5. Okay. 6. Okay. 7. 8. And okay, 9. Hopefully. Okay, now our next ingredient, after we've added 9 freaking cups of flour, because we didn't look at the recipe before we started. Oh, really? Wow. The world. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Oh, it said spooned in. I'm hoping scooped in large cups counts as spooned in. It's close enough. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Remember how I said we were going to try to get everything ready before I started? I'm going to go get the baking soda. And the measuring spoons. And the measuring spoons. Aha. Success. Tablespoons? Teaspoons. TSP. I wonder what would happen if I put in 2 tablespoons. Not going to, but I do wonder. I tell you, the cookies would not, they wouldn't love us. People would know that our cookies were not made with love. They would think that they were made with hate and science project volcanoes. So I need 4 of these to double it. Just watch, there's going to be one of these ingredients I forget to double, and the whole thing is going to be completely destroyed. I mean, I would never do that. Here, I'll let you see my forehead, because I keep moving too close. And I mean, I know that my forehead is what we're really all here for. How many of these did I add? Let's just set that aside. Okay, and now we need 1 teaspoon each of ginger, cloves, cinnamon, and salt. So 2 teaspoons each of ginger, cloves, cinnamon, and salt. Now, fortunately, I got absolutely none of those ready. So, ginger, cloves. I ran into a refrigerator. Cinnamon, nutmeg? It doesn't say nutmeg, but we're gonna put nutmeg in there because I got it and I don't wanna put it back. And salt. Okay, so a teaspoon each of these, right? Yes. How am I supposed to? I will take the lid off. Big brain time. Now, if we add a little extra of these, it probably doesn't matter because these are the delicious part. This is what you're really gonna taste. This is what you want. So if we add, you know, don't really measure, just put roughly a teaspoon. Oh, look, this is brand new. I have never opened this one before. Delicious. It's probably because I kept, oh, this doesn't fit now. How am I gonna? Carefully, carefully, carefully. Carefully. Okay, 1. Is a noise that normal humans make. Okay, and now we'll use our nutmeg. Oh wait, that was the one that I wasn't sure if I needed. No, I did definitely need cloves. It's nutmeg I wasn't sure about. Isn't it? We're gonna just hope so. We'll just find out. I could read the recipe again and double check, but well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just, yeah. Nope, that's more than, see, really? Never measure your spices directly over your bowl because that way if you spill a little bit, it doesn't end up in your recipe and you get a more precise measurement. Of course, I'm doing it directly over my bowl, so they'll be awesome. You don't know me. You don't know my life. Maybe I like ridiculous amounts of things that might or might not be supposed to be in there. Now I really like ginger, so we're gonna do these heaping. How many was I actually supposed to add? 1 each. Okay, so we're gonna do 2, and it's gonna be kind of heaping. Because ginger is good. It's an anti-inflammatory. It'll settle your stomach if you're feeling a bit of a queasiness. So we like ginger. Ginger is one of those ones that's not just like a pseudo spice. It's not faking it. It's actually gonna help you out if you're not feeling great. And salt. We don't want to forget salt. I made bread once with my sister. Completely forgot the salt, and it did not turn out great. That is absolutely a fact. I'm gonna go get some new measuring spoons because I dropped those on the floor. Thank you, sweetie. You can put those in the sink actually because they were on the floor, and we don't want to cook with stuff that we put on the floor. Thank you. You are such a good help. Yeah, sure. Either side doesn't matter. Fortunately, I have more identical measuring spoons, and you can see she's still putting those in the sink, so we know I didn't just fake it and you know, pick those up. I touched my face. It's fine. I don't have my hair tied back. We're gonna check it for hairs. I'm sorry, family and relatives, if there is hair in it. I had to make the cookies and press.
There's a little hair on your eye.
There's a hair on my eye.
No, at your
Oh, at my eye. Okay, that's all right. It's fashion. Okay, so now we need our salt, right? How much salt did it say add? A tablespoon. Teaspoon? Have I been adding tablespoons this whole time? No, I've been doing teaspoons.
I think that.
Right?
I think that at starts with A.
Oh, I bet it does.
Apple. And Alice.
Thank you, Allie. Can I finish my cooking?
Allie.
All right, so we're gonna add our salt, and I didn't already add one, right? A little bit more because I didn't, right? Hopefully, if they're really salty, we'll know. Sometimes, you know, 5-year-old jumps in, you get a little bit distracted and you don't know how much of something you put into your ingredients. Okay, so my next ingredient is going to be a 1/2 cup of milk. So that's a full cup of milk because we're doubling the recipe. Ooh, that was close. Where is my, did I put all of them in the sink? Oh, I put it in the flour. And I wonder why I can never find anything. Where am I going to put my measuring cup? Oh, we'll just leave it in the bucket of flour. Why not? It's not like we're ever going to need it again. Unless we're making something with flour. So I just poured a full cup of milk. Now, this recipe does have like procedural order of operations and you're supposed to do things in a certain order. And I mean, normally one would read the instructions before they started cooking. But I didn't feel like it, so I didn't. Awesome. Moving on, we need to put in, we need to mix. We need to mix this and mix this. So I'm going to do one with a whisk because I can do that on the camera and not deafen everyone attempting to listen. I'm really bad at singing. Okay, and then we're gonna mix it over here with this and mix our eggs and our kind of second added cup of molasses. But we don't want to mix it for too long because eggs don't like being overbeaten. And I mean, nobody likes being overbeaten in general, unless, you know. I'm family friendly, okay? All right, I think that's beaten enough. There, okay. So, really I should add the flour to my liquids because it'll come out of the pot better, but I'm not sure if 9 cups of flour are gonna fit in this bowl. We're gonna try it anyway. If it goes everywhere, it goes everywhere. That's life. Sometimes it's all over the place. And while you're cooking, really, you should be cleaning up as you go. I'm not doing that, but you absolutely should be cleaning up as you go so there's less work afterward. And always remember to tie your hair back when you're cooking so you don't get your hair in your food. In we go, flour. Now you want to add this gradually. Don't just like throw it all in at once because it gets really difficult to mix and you're not going to get your liquids mixed evenly if you do that. I didn't, but definitely if you attempt this recipe, add your flour nice and slow. I'm going to start by mixing it up a little bit with my spatula thing, and then I'm going to use my beaters again. I'm so sorry. Turn your speakers or headphones down when I do that if you, you know, like having ears. I'm a big fan of ears. Now, if I remember correctly, I'm supposed to add the milk gradually as we go to moisten the flour, but not all at once. I think that's so the baking soda doesn't have a reaction with the lactic acid in the milk and start bubbling early. You don't want that because then it's not going to rise and they'll just end up being hardtack and not delicious. All right, here we go. Brace yourself. Oh, that's unpleasant. I hope I added enough cups of flour. We'll find out soon. Flying everywhere. It's delightful. Ooh, at least I won't be having guests, you know, what with the deadly pandemic and everything. We'll just throw cookies at people's houses as we drive by. Just drive by with our windows open and throw some cookies out the window. We'll make a festive thing of it, maybe play some music. I won't sing music though. I don't want everyone to like hate me, and because well, you heard. So it's getting really difficult to use this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use these again until they start to actually smoke. And at that point, it's definitely too thick to use them anymore. And we're gonna have to go in with our spatula, maybe our hands, maybe a spoon. We'll just get creative. You can see that's getting really, really thick. I almost blended my finger. That's all right. You don't really need 20 fingers. I feel like that's extra. Like, if you had, Frodo managed to get back to the Shire with only 9 fingers after Gollum bit one off. So I think you can get a lot done with 9 fingers. Sauron had 9 fingers too. Throughout most of the Lord of the Rings, because Isildur cut his finger off to get the one ring from it. It's just some Tolkien baking time. Yeah, there's definitely this stuff just like flying in every direction. So we're going to take a step to gather up all of the bits of dough that have kind of relocated themselves to our counter and our walls and maybe our ceiling. We'll get some of them. Alright, it's not quite smoking, but we're just gonna... Yeah. Okay, that is that's everywhere. Our tea is almost ready though, because I like to steep it for a really long time. Partly because I like a good, strong, well-caffeinated tea, and partly because I always forget that I'm making tea and just kind of leave it there until it gets cold and have to heat it up again. Let's keep gathering up little bits of, fortunately I cleaned the counter really well and sanitized before I started this because, yeah. Hi, sweetie. Oh, that's not a fun noise.
I said hi.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's,
I'm still a baby dragon and I'm still stuck in my egg.
Oh, you're a baby dragon stuck in your egg? Can Mommy do her video? I mean, I really appreciate your dragon stories. I do. I love it.
He might be my dragon. And yes, you can do the video.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, this looks like the right consistency. Hopefully, I didn't miss an entire cup of flour and it actually doesn't turn out all mushy and gross. So, I'll need a pan and I will put some parchment paper on the pan. You know what? This is really wet. I probably missed some flour. We're just going to add some more flour to it just to be safe. Hopefully this isn't way too much flour. I'm tripping over a dog.
No, now you're my mommy dog.
Okay, Allie, I'm trying to do video, sweetie. I really love your stories. I do. I just kind of want to do my video. Okay, gonna mix it. Okay, this is about the point we'll get our hands in there because it's really not mixing with the spatula anymore. So this is gonna get sticky. It's gonna be messy. I also washed my hands before I started the video. Very important to wash your hands and all of your surfaces when you're cooking. And I am making cookies. And it's important to wash your face. That's not really for the cooking. Oh, there goes the other measuring spoons, but we probably don't need those anymore. Watson, don't eat the measuring spoons. It's a dog. Just wait.
Oh, no,
Thank you. Oh, this is very sticky on my fingers. This is just grand. I'm starting to think I should not have used my fingers for this. So yeah, there's another pro tip. Don't just stick your fingers into this recipe because it's pretty sticky and it's gonna be a time. It's not really gonna do what you want it to. Okay, and we didn't actually end up using all of our milk either. This is fine. This is I would like to add more flour, but just gonna use our elbows.
Yeah, because you dropped both of those spoons.
There we go. Well, not just drop the spoons, honey. My fingers are covered in cookie dough.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
You should wash your hands after that.
I absolutely should. So we're just going to work in the rest of this flour so that when we roll out our dough, it'll actually roll out instead of sticking to our rolling pin and our parchment paper and our pans and our everything. So that's just kind of a mess.
I'm gonna make a whole red Christmas tree because red is all I got.
Oh, okay. You make a red Christmas tree. I'm sure that's not something that's been done by our southern neighbors at any point in their highest office of authority. All right, so I really am just trying to get a good consistency right now where I'll be able to roll it out onto a tray and without it completely goopily sticking to everything. So that's why I was concerned that I didn't add enough flour, because if it is too gloopy, very scientific word, gloopy, then I won't be able to do what I need to do with it. And that would just not be ideal. But if I do this too much and add too much flour, we're gonna end up with really hard, tacky, not good cookies. So it's definitely a balance here. And it all kind of comes down to what temperature your kitchen is, how soft your butter was, how much milk you added, and whether or not you counted your flour cups correctly. Which you should do. You should definitely count your everything as you put it in. Measure very, very carefully. Oh my goodness. I do have a recipe book actually, sweetie. It's just too bad that I don't read it before I start cooking. Kids are just the best. Okay, now what does our recipe book call for? Just gonna put the elbow. Preheat oven to 350 degrees. Line a cookie sheet with parchment paper. Lightly flour surface. Roll dough into 1 1/4 inch thick and cut into rounds or preferential shape. I'll just do that. Just stopping my phone is going to be a challenge. I mean, my high-tech camera that I'm recording on. I'm a professional. Oh my God. You should always take your rings off before you cook. Otherwise, the dough will get stuck in them. Oh, look, it flew into the milk. Okay, that's enough. We're going to wash our hands quickly to get all of the dough off of them. Please stop whistling, sweetie. Okay. See, the trouble with a butter-based dough is that it doesn't like to come off your hands very easily with water, so you really got to keep going.
And what's that would be right now?
A piece of dough. It's basically just everywhere. There's just cookie dough flown all over the kitchen.
How about I could taste test it?
You're going to taste test it for me? Oh, I would love it if you would taste test that for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there's some on our sink. Now we're going to dry our hands a little bit and heat up our oven. Preheat, 350 degrees. On a lightly floured surface, which I've floured a little bit before my daughter tripped over the camera tripod and knocked it askew, we are going to take a big old clump of this and roll it out with our handy dandy rolling pin. I have a fairly nice rolling pin actually. Found it somewhere and purchased it, and it's awesome. So we're going to do a couple of lumps of this. Doesn't that just look appetizing? And since we made a double, we don't want to do the full amount right away. So we're going to slap it a little. I like to put a little flour on top of it so that my rolling pin doesn't get stuck, because that does tend to happen. Now, I have this neat marble rolling pin. I like it better than the woods ones because I can wash it better, and it's a little bit heavier, so I get more of a push. Plus, it's less sticky. So it says I want it about a 1 inch thick. I'm not going to measure it. You know that by now. You've watched this video this far. You know I'm not going to measure it. Who measures? So it's an inch, right? Not a centimeter? I don't know. But at least we preheated our oven instead of coming to the point where it wants it to already be preheated and having us not done that. Now, since we're making ginger molasses cookies, which is kind of like gingerbread, we're going to use our little gingerbread man. Oh, I used him to make a Christmas ornament earlier. So we're going to get all the glue and cornstarch off of him. I'm just going to wash him. Washing off the glue and cornstarch. Yes, I did choke on my own tongue. That's fine. Sometimes you're talking and, you know, your own throat gets in the way. That's just part of life, really. You might notice the giant mess and a considerable amount of dough just splattered all over the back wall there. That's all right. We'll clean that up eventually. I'm looking at the camera now, but I know perfectly well it can't see my face because I've got it aimed down at what I'm doing. So now we're just going to make little cookie cutter shapes here. Please don't stay. Oh, no. So after we've made our cookie cutter shapes, we're going to have a prepared pan with our, just going to zoom around here, a prepared pan with some parchment paper on it. You could grease your pan. I'm not going to do that, but you could. That's enough. That fits. That's fine. Now we're going to use the other one. This one's big, so it needs more parchment paper. You might notice your pan is a little wet because you waited to wash it until right before you needed it. Or you might be a responsible adult that actually washes things when you are supposed to. Okay, so now, once it's not sitting on top of our dough, we can start putting our little cookie dudes into our pan as we cut. You look at him, he's so happy. He's screaming for help, isn't he? He's happy. Okay, so we're gonna do the rest of these, just little shapes. We'll be right back once we have all our little shapes cut out, ready to put them in the oven. All right, so it's time to get ready to put our first batch of cookies into the oven. What I'm gonna do is put a little bit of brown sugar on top of every one of them because I find it just tastes a little better and takes a little bit of the dryness out of the cookies that otherwise might be there because, I mean, we did put a lot of cinnamon and ginger into it. Definitely followed the measurements accurately and just in case though, I mean sometimes you never know, but you never know if you might have messed up a little. It's just safer to put just a little, and I like brown sugar. It's delicious. I am always sad that this recipe doesn't actually call for any brown sugar and I have to use white sugar. But I'm scared to deviate that much. I don't know what would happen if I used brown sugar, because isn't molasses part of brown sugar? If you want to make a comment, let me know if that's the case or not, because I'm not sure and I probably won't look it up. I'm lying. I'll probably watch like 8 videos later on the topic, but I'd still love to hear about it. Not because the algorithm likes comments or anything. Okay, now we're going to just pop these right in the oven and wait about whatever time the recipe book says to wait, approximately. Now the trick with cookies, you have to make sure you take them out slightly before they look like they're done. Otherwise, they're gonna overcook on you because they'll keep cooking after you take them out of the oven. And it's a really common mistake that people make. So that's a serious piece of advice I'm gonna give you. Also set a timer, especially if you're like me and you forget things a lot. Like, remember how I made tea? Yeah, still haven't had any. I should probably, while we're waiting for this to cook and setting our timer, hey Google, set a timer for 10 minutes.
Sure, 10 minutes. And we're starting now.
We're just gonna do that just to be safe. I don't actually know how long I need them to cook, but 10 minutes is usually a good safe guess for most cookies. So we're gonna go over here and finish our tea while that cooks. Or we could just knock over our tripod. See, I went and tightened it earlier so it wouldn't get knocked over again. That was silly. Why would I do that? I know better. Oh, here's our mixer that we just threw off out of sight earlier. So we're just gonna shove that one back in there. And the cupboard doesn't fall open and nothing falls on us. That's a win. So we're gonna make our tea. Now, I am disgusting when I make tea. I like milk and sugar in my tea in amounts that would cause most real tea makers to retch a little bit, probably. I like a good heaping spoonful of sugar. And then we're gonna remove our tea bags. I like to use two, one peppermint and one just black tea. Like red rose, just for nostalgia purposes. I know a lot of people prefer the fancier teas. I do have fancier teas. I do love the loose leaf teas, but red rose is my backup go-to basic tea. I don't know why my dog is barking. I'm gonna assume he either wants to go outside or there's a rabbit escaped in the basement or he's found the missing lizard that slipped out of its tank about a week ago. It's hard to say really. It could be any number of things. We're gonna get the milk and finish our tea though. Now I could use the milk I already poured but didn't use for our cookies, but as you'll remember, I dropped cookie batter in that while I was trying to get it off with my fingers. So rather than add cookie batter to my tea, we're going to use fresh milk from the jug and then leave it on the counter and probably forget it there for far too long. But I have a fresh one in the fridge, so if it gets wasted, I'll be very sad, but what can you do? Oh yeah, that's cold. We're gonna warm this up a little bit in the microwave. This is an important step in the cookie making process, is to warm up the tea that you left on the counter for like a half hour while you cooked your cookies. And I'm gonna get a different cup because this cup has metal on it. And we all know what happens when you put metal in the microwave. Just wanna clumsily pour your tea from one cup into the other, spilling it all over the place. It's a very important step to spill your tea just everywhere. And we're just gonna reheat it. I like to heat my tea for about 35 seconds to a minute, depending on how long I've forgotten it on the counter. Just leave you looking at my messy counter. Oh look, a tube. Why is there a tube there? Where did it come from? I didn't put it there. I must have put it there. Don't remember putting it there though. We'll just shove that in the drawer of things that are never found. Goodbye, random tube. Now when that's done heating, I'm gonna put it back in this cup because I really like this mug. It's got a little sloth on it and he tells me to have to slow down and take a break, which is something important to remember when you know, can be a little bit on edge, a little bit flighty, a little constantly going. So there's our tea heated. And we're just gonna waste like roughly half of this, pouring it back into the first mug that we had here. There, it's almost like there's none missing, and now it's hot. So we're just gonna wait for our cookies to be done, and I will see you when that is ready. All right, my timer would like me to know that the cookies are very likely done. So we are just gonna have a little look in this here oven and see. Oh my goodness, they got huge. They're probably fine. What you should do to check is take a toothpick and stick it in them to check the consistency, see how they're doing. I'm gonna poke the hot cut cookies with my bare fingers, but don't do this. Yeah, they seem great. We're gonna use the oven mitts to get the pan out because I'm not a complete idiot. We don't touch the hot metal pans with our fingers, ever. Oh, they look good. They got very puffy. Look at these puffy boys. They look like cookies. I don't think we completely screwed them up. Awesome. I say we like it's not all 100% my fault if I completely screwed them up. It's your fault, actually. If they're not good, you did this. And I want you to be very sorry for that. So they're gonna have to cool for a little bit and then we can taste them. By we, I mean my kids. We're gonna get them to taste them and then we'll decide if we want to taste them after or if they run away screaming and crying because I have made some sort of monstrous, salty, disgusting cookie. I don't think I did, but I'd have to rewatch the footage of what I actually put into them, because I don't remember. I have no idea what actually went into these. I'm fairly certain that there's brown sugar on top of them though, because I can see it. Also, remember all that flour we used and how many ingredients there were? This is my leftover dough, so we're gonna be able to make so many more of these cookies. My relatives and friends are just gonna be disgusted by the volume of cookies that I give them if I can manage to remember to leave the house and get over my anxiety enough to see other people and, you know, go around with the masks and festively deliver cookies that I will gain 300 pounds if I eat all by myself. Okay, all right, it's time for the taste test.
That's so good.
It's good, is it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what would you, how high would you give it out of 10? What number out of 10?
100.
100 out of 10. Well, that's a good review, I think. All right, you heard it here. 100 out of 10 cookies. Good luck. I believe in you.